Hi team, I just wanted to talk through ways that you can practice for your resource assessment at home without all the equipment that we have at the university. So you can see here I've set up a practice space. I've made myself a mannequin out of a pillow, a t-shirt and a little toy bunny. I've got a defibrillator here that's made out of an old box. I've got some defib leads made out of some old headphones. I've got a little string that's my entitled CO2, and I've got a couple of rhythm strips that I've just quickly drawn here, and I've got my phone sitting here that's going to be my cycle timer. So I've got it set on a 2-minute clock countdown. I've got my first response bag, and in this I've got a BVM, I've got a Thomas tube holder, I've got a straw as my LMA, and I had an old syringe lying around that I can use for my LMA. Obviously there might be bits and pieces missing, things like filters and COBS connectors that you can improvise alternatives, or you can visualize and work through that. I've got my suction unit, bit of paper with suction written on it, and I've got my oxygen bottle, my handy water bottle. And this basic setup is enough for you to practice some of the sequence that goes into running an effective resuscitation. So it might look like me saying, hey, I'm entering the scene now. I'm going to confirm that this patient's in cardiac arrest. I'm doing a painful stimulus. We've got no signs of life here. My partner could start some chest compressions. I'm going to attach the defib. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to apply my pads to the patient's chest. And I'm going to push the analyze button. This is the rhythm we're seeing on the screen. So I'm seeing a ventricular fibrillation. We know that's a shockable rhythm. So on the life pack, it's going to come up with our little 15-second countdown. So I'm going to be watching the monitor, watching the time, getting ready to deliver the shock, pause my compressor, deliver the shock. And my partner's going to start back up on the chest. I'm going to start my metronome. And I'm going to update comms and say this is a confirmed cardiac arrest requesting CCP backup. For a primary arrest, I'm going to start setting up my airway dump. So I'm going to have my BVM assembled. I need a filter, I need some oxygen tubing. I'm going to connect it to the oxygen bottle. I'm going to do some airway positioning, so I'll grab my towels and I'll do a sniffing position for this patient. If it's an adult, I'll get my Thomas tube holder, I'll lay that under the patient's head. I'll get a size 4 LMA for an adult, and I'm going to be using a 30 ml syringe or 30 ml of air to test the cuff of my LMA. I'll lubricate it and lay it out as part of my airway dump. I can keep an eye on the monitor, so keeping track of time, and then I can set up my entitled CO2, have that laid out and screwed in and calibrated, and I can do my safety net, so keeping an eye on my chest compressor, checking that I've got all my equipment laid out, and checking in to see how much time we have left in the cycle. And just by practicing the sequence of events, we can get used to doing things in the right order every time and set up really strong fundamental practice for when you do come into university and you can practice with the actual equipment.